Is that camera?
Okay. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi, what's up? So, just in case you did not read, I'm going to do an overview of it. So, we're reading Judges, chapters 1 and 2. So, Joshua is dead within the first 5 words. So, God appoints a new leader and delivers the cities of Bezek, Jerusalem, Shishai, Debir, Anamet, and Talmah into the Israelites' hands. Which, in my opinion, that's a lot of cities to give one tribe. So the Israelites. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. So, would anybody like to read Judges 2:1 through 4?
You forgot to give up hand out the
Oh.
Bibles. They're right behind you, Angela, in the drawer, top drawer. Page 2.
Yes, we have.
Oh, actually, it's on this.
Or
you can use
Or we can use our papers.
I think that's right.
So it's
Well, our papers don't say the verses, so.
Yeah, they know. So it's
I dropped
the-
one slip.
It's this. The front side. This is Judges 2, and then it's just until here. So would anybody like to read that?
Where am I?
Do you want
Thank you. Wait, I got it. So Judges.
Judges chapter 2,
Chapter 2.
1 through 4.
Okay.
Which that picture will make itself active. Okay, so who would like to read? All right, Ethan.
Wait,
Hey, let me get there. Hold on.
Wait, it's on the paper.
It's on page 114. Here. I'm almost there. Page 114. Okay, so chapter 2.
It's on the paper.
Okay, I'm there now. I'm sorry. So now the angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim, and he said, I brought you up from Egypt and brought you into the land that I swore to give to your fathers. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. You shall break down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. What is this you have done? So now I say, I will not drive them out before you, but they shall become thorns in your sides, and their gods shall become a snare to you. As soon as the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the people of Israel, the people lifted up their voices and wept.
So I think that's pretty crazy that just an angel showed up and totally changed their whole thing that happened. So they disobeyed and forsook God. So he was against them in their battles, let raiders invade them, and because they worship Baal. And even though God raised up judges among the people, which is why the book is called Judges, to guide them, the Israelites remained corrupt. So an example of this is if you're usually pretty good in class at school, then you usually get some sort of special privilege or a piece of candy. But if you're not making some good choices, you're usually warned, like the Israelites were with the angel, and then you can be punished if you keep doing it. The Israelites did. So the Israelites were warned, and they still didn't listen. So an example, so sometimes I find it hard to be kind to my siblings, as do I think a lot of people, but I noticed that I usually feel guilty when that happens. So, and then I noticed that I feel a lot better, like when the Israelites had victories, when I treat them nicely, because it feels so much better. You don't have something weighing on you yeah. It's hard to explain, but I feel a lot better. So, do you get along with your siblings, and what is your experience with your siblings? If anybody wants to share. Jared.
No, I don't get along with my siblings.
Okay. So, what is an example of that?
Narrow them down.
Well, you see.
Well, you see.
What have you done?
Okay, so sometimes we get in fights and stuff because we don't agree with each other.
Yeah.
And I think I'm right, but she thinks she's right. And it's just It always like
That
screams
is
stuff. And,
problematic
yeah.
when that happens. Does anybody else want to share though? Savannah.
See, Ashlyn
Oh,
Blame it on Ashlyn. Oh, bye-bye.
is all like, she's always bothering me. So like,
That's what little sister did. That's what their job is.
this is what she does all the time. She's like, "Ma, ma, ma," and then she just walks out of the room. And
How do you usually react to that?
I usually just like kind of scream and run out of the room. And when
Yeah.
Brooke does something I don't like the other day, she was just non-stop talking while I was trying to do my homework. Like just blabbing to her face. I don't know about what. I just kind of ran and jumped on her.
Well, that's nice.
And my man.
My mom got really mad.
So, some key points are the Israelites defeated multiple cities with God's help and favor. So another one is an angel comes and visits the Israelites and tells them that they have broken the covenant. And just for those of you who do not know, a covenant is like a promise. And the Israelites do not heed the warning and they worship Baal, turn their backs on God, and that results in raids to their camp and God's favor elsewhere. So the takeaway. So there's one thing that I think we all take for granted, and that is how great, is that God's grace. Because God is such a merciful God, and He gives us so many chances.
Yes.
Like, He doesn't just, and sort of an example of that is He doesn't just tell you, that you can only ask for forgiveness once. It's just unlimited, which I find that really cool that He gives us so many chances. And God is our Father. And so in this story, I think it's almost sort of like parenting, because the Israelites, they obey and they get rewarded with all these cities that they conquered. But when they disobey, the angel comes, gives them a warning, and when they keep disobeying, doing what they're doing, they say they'll do something, but they do a totally different thing. So when they keep disobeying, they're punished. But something that I think is really cool is that punishment is out of love. Because it's hard for me to understand this when it's actually in the moment. Because you think they're just trying to punish you because you did something wrong. But they're trying to help you. So God was trying to help the Israelites with this to understand why it was so important to worship Him. And so a lot of people think that, well, not like a lot of people, but some people think that obedience doesn't really matter. But this story kind of shows that it really matters more than anything to be obedient, that it's not just going to lead to one consequence. It has there's a lot bigger of a picture. So, what are your thoughts and questions or comments? Either on this chapter, on the reading? Anybody?
I
Yes.
agree very much with your last closing statement that obedience, it won't just lead to, one little consequence, but it just kind of snowballs and leads into a bunch of bad stuff, or disobedience. But obedience to the Lord really is wonderful.
I agree as well.
Anybody else? Ethan?
In our tribes, we were talking about the difference between faith and obedience, and I feel like I kind of know what you're saying there, because faith is kind of knowing that you believe in God, but then obedience is actually doing what He says. So I feel like obedience is definitely important.
Yeah, actually carrying out what you say you believe. Okay. Any other questions, comments, thoughts?